Alright everyone, welcome back to another weekly trade review. Since the last one was received pretty well, I have decided to maybe make this a weekly thing. So we'll dive into a British pound Canadian dollar or GBP CAD trade breakdown of last week, specifically last Friday, the last day of the trading week. We'll start again on the higher time frame and drop all the way down to the intra-week or intraday timeframes. So on the higher time frame, we have been bullish all from September of 2022, and this high over here looks like it's going to be the draw on liquidity, as we also have three failure swings up here, which has a lot of buy side liquidity. We can see that price traded up. We had a monthly internal range liquidity pool here. Price dropped down into it, moved higher again, fails to take the high, drops back down, and whilst doing so we form SMT with Euro CAD, meaning Euro CAD made a lower low back into that weekly or a monthly Vervalue gap, whilst GBP CAD failed to do so, displays back up again. And if we look into the more recent price action, we can see that we have displaced higher here, created a weekly FVG, moved higher again, take this high very shallowly, but fail to take that long-term drawn liquidity again, drop down, purge this low into that weekly FVG whilst forming SMT with Euro CAD, making this a purge or turtle soup entry potentially. And we can see that price from this large wick has a pretty decent reaction to the purge of this low. So we'll drop into the daily time frame here to get a bit of more context. So off of that turtle soup or smart money reversal of a market maker buy model, because I have framed this as the original consolidation. Now why this? Because we can see that all the bodies of these daily candles are relatively close together and they are small bodied candles. Now we can see that the sell side of the curve was formed here, and when price purged this low, we had an energetic displacement back up, traded back down into this fair value gap, traded back up again with displacement, very important. And then from the 1st of May, which is the monthly opening price, so think of the monthly power of 3, price has been trading down back into this fair value gap and basically accumulating long orders inside of this. And we also have this daily order block here, which is a high probability order block because it has tapped into this fair value gap. Now price drops below this low again and forms SMT with Euro CAD, making this again a purge or potential turtle soup entry. Now that price closes above the sequence of down close candles, we can use the opening price as a sensitive area for the daily order block, and we can see that this candle trades into it, as we can see by the wick, and then explodes up, and this will become more prominent when we'll drop into the intra-week time frame. So this is the target for me for the week, which I framed at the beginning of the week. Now we'll drop into the hourly time frame to look at the intra-week price action, because the hourly chart, in my opinion, is a good chart to look at the intra-week price action. Now, first of all, very important is to determine the weekly profile. So we have the daily dividers on the midnight opening price of every trading day. And what we can see is that Monday already gave a decent range. It gave about 40 or 50 pips of upside. Now, what does this mean? It's inducing buyers. People are buying all the way up here, up here, up here, because they think the week is going to be bullish. Where do they place their stop? At the low of the day. So what is Tuesday? What does Tuesday usually do? It usually takes Monday's high or Monday's low. Now, it does not, from the midnight open, it does not take the previous day's high. Instead, what it does is it drops down below Monday's low and forms SMT with Euro CAD whilst doing so, again making it a purge or turtle soup entry. And afterwards we can see that it forms a failure swing, meaning we have a lower low first on GBP CAD and then a higher low, whilst Euro CAD made a lower low. Now this right here is a signature in price action that happens very often at a swing point that is forming, after which price will reverse. So we can see energetic displacement higher here, giving us a shift in market structure because we had a low, lower low, and then we made a higher high above this high with some displacement. Now initially I was looking for an entry here at the beginning of the week, but the fair value gap never got filled, and many people will question why that is. Now first of all, we have that daily order block that I showed, which is a sensitive area on price. You can see it tapped into it a few times, but fails to go through it. And the main reason why fair value gaps remain unfilled is SMT. Because EuroCAD fills the FVG, GBP CAD does no longer need to do that, and thus it creates a breakaway gap or a bag or a BAG. Now again, from this small retracement, it fails to reach discount, meaning GBP CAD is very, very bullish. Another break in structure, giving us another fair value gap, did not take this entry, and we displaced higher, and the US dollar CPI was used to distribute price higher. Now we can see that on Thursday, price has yet to reach the buy side liquidity pool, and again we have that breakaway gap here, showing still that GBP CAD has very much strength. Now it's basically consolidating in a deep premium, and people will be scared to long here for this moment, and they'll rather look for a retracement, for example, into this fair value gap back into discount. But again, SMT will prevent that from happening, because Euro was very weak, GBP was very strong, which I also outlined to my students. So again, it forms this breakaway gap. Now we have this bulky down close candle here on the hourly time frame, and if we're truly bullish, we don't want to see price disrespect down close or bearish candles, because they should fuel price higher, because long positions are accumulated in down close candles. And we'll now drop into a intraday chart or the 15-minute chart to give a sense of the market structure. Alright, so now on the 15-minute time frame, remember, we have that hourly order block outlined here. Now on Thursday, does this look like a high of the week? If you say yes, you're wrong. First of all, they are equal highs. Second of all, there's no SMT, and every high or low of the week has SMT. So I'm 100% confident that this is not the high of the week yet, and we'll see more upside on Friday if Thursday does not take the high. Again, Thursday is a consolidation. Why? GBP is strong, Euro is weak, and CAD is relatively strong, but it's about as strong as the GBP. So Euro CAD is allowed to drop, whilst GBP CAD is held in a consolidation before it's allowed to continue its bullish momentum. We form a long-term low at a key level on a higher time frame, which is the hourly order block, and price just ranges around. Trades down below these bodies, making this our rejection block. And if we look at the advanced market structure here, we can see on Friday the midnight opening price. To the left of that, we have a low. After the midnight open, we make a lower low, after which we get a shift in market structure, and price forms another low, meaning this will be our intermediate term low because it has two short-term lows to the side of it. In this leg, there's no displacement, so many people they will not seek an entry here, because on this time frame they do not see a fair value gap. And that's what many people are. They are pattern traders. So here we get a break of structure and a fair value gap. So what do? They long right here. Where do they put their stop? Below the swing low or the candle that created the fair value gap, because that's what they've been taught. But they are missing the narrative, they're missing the context, and they are missing the most important thing, which is you usually don't enter from a fair value gap that is formed after a short-term low. Instead, you wait for an intermediate-term low to purge the stops of the people who entered on this fair value gap, because they place their stop down here. That's a fact. Drops down, creates an intermediate-term low again, because it takes a short-term low. And after an intermediate-term low is formed, we can look to enter on the short-term low that is formed after it. Now with this purge or turtle soup, which could have been a potential entry, we again had SMT with Euro CAD with these respective lows. Price displaced higher energetically, fails to take the equal highs again, making even more people bearish because they're like, yeah, it's strong resistance. And again, pattern traders, they'll see this as an order block, which it's not a valid order block because it did not purge any liquidity. So the short here, give them a bit of profit. Their stops are also placed above the high again. Even more buy side liquidity has been generated. And I looked for an entry in discount of this range, and we had this reclaimed Vervaille gap plus this order block that had been created. It lined up with about equilibrium of the order block plus discount of the range plus the reclaimed Vervaille gap. Now where do we put our stops? Where they are safe, below an intermediate term low or a long term low, of course. But in this case, an intermediate term low, we enter on the short term low that's formed afterwards, and we ride it all the way up. Closed 60% at the equal highs, and I held about 40% to my weekly drawn liquidity, which, as you can see, got reached right around the end of London close, which formed the high of day as it usually does, and price did basically nothing in New York PM. Now I'll show the executions here on the screen if it allows me to do so. Let me see. There you go. As you can see, one position was closed above the equal highs and the other one I held all the way to the drawn liquidity, which was my weekly draw. Now when do we expect Friday to expand even higher, even as deep as the London close or New York PM session, when the weekly objective has not been met and the weekly high or low for that matter is not a valid high or low like this one where we have equal highs with no SMT. I hope that video is insightful again, and as I said, I plan on doing this every week where I'll be going over a trade that I took for the week. And until I talk to you next time.